Getting started up? Okay, great. Well, let's stand and do the pledge of allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So I'm going to try and move as quick as we can today because I need to leave at 5:25 and I believe some other members need to leave early as well. So I'm going to see if we can squish as much as we can into an hour here. So I think we'll primarily be discussing the ECB environmental fair and the ZBA memo because we've only got the one referral here. So
We have a second memo too.
oh yes,
The other
memos.
RSM memo.
Did anybody have any issue with the minutes at all from August? Can I get a motion to approve them?
Make a motion to approve them.
Everybody,
Second.
thanks. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great. Privilege of the floor. Would anyone like to speak? We do have a guest. It's Tony from, what is it called?
Mahar.
Mahar Associates. So it's here today. So did you want to say anything, Tony, or wait till we get down to your section there?
Yeah, we can wait until you get down to the Joslyn site plan.
Okay, great. Anything else from the development office you want to chat about, Shauna?
I don't, other than we have 9, was it, Kim, referrals or
I
10?
did
9
not.
to 10 referrals came in for our September 1st deadline.
Okay.
So I'm almost certain that you'll see something. I
Okay,
just haven't gone through them yet
okay.
for your next meeting.
So maybe if we can all take a peek and see who would like to review some of those, if there's some, if you can maybe let us know if there's anything in particular that you think we're gonna have to check out, and then Gary and Edith and help us all start visiting if we want to do that. Town board doesn't have any referrals of anything in particular from CIC panel or?
Yeah, I don't
or-
think there's anything from CIC this.
Wasn't the last CIC, we didn't have it, did we?
Correct.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's right, it got
that's
canceled.
The next
Yeah.
one
Mhm.
is actually right after Labor
Is it
Day.
the 6th?
Yeah,
Tuesday the 6th?
Tuesday.
Yeah,
and
we're
Kevin
so
will be
early this
coming.
time.
Kevin O'Banny is coming.
Kevin, okay.
Mhm.
Usually we're after them, but like the day after, but this year for where this month for
Yeah.
where the Thursday fell, we're pretty early, so.
Right.
Nothing that I know from ordinance.
Ordinance is at their next meeting, which is the 8th, well, 7th
Seventh.
Wednesday.
Mhm.
We'll be talking more about solar.
Yep.
They've started reviewing it and they'll be hopefully wrapping that up with some changes to the ordinance.
Yeah, we had a nice presentation.
Yeah.
And then so PRC. So with this, that brings us to the meager engineering one. So CPN number 38. This was, they're tearing down an existing lakefront home and building a 2-story home, correct?
Correct.
Great, yeah. Hi, guys.
If
Hi.
they were helpful, that would be even better.
Welcome, welcome. I was just saying, we're moving kind of as quickly as possible today because a couple of us have to leave early, so we're pushing on along. So we're already on the referral from the PRC here. So unless you guys had anything you wanted to share before we get into that. Okay,
Only that getting out on 5 and 20 would cook up.
yeah,
We were just talking about that.
we were.
We
No,
come from the
there was a
same
light,
direction.
just like certain
We
times.
just
certain
said a
times.
roundabout needs to be put in or Eric said a
It-
roundabout.
Honestly, of
agree
all the
with
places
you.
that we
If it was
actually
at,
need a
like,
roundabout.
morning and you take
Yeah.
a shower at
But
weekends,
it's
like
a
the
state
summer.
Other times.
That will never
It's
happen.
pretty wild up there.
So you pulled the flame. Can you do me a favor? Can you scroll? I think it's this one that has that color thing on it, isn't it? Can you scroll all the way to the bottom of this one? No, maybe it's another one there. Or keep going. Yes,
Yeah.
okay. I found of all the things on this plan, the most helpful thing was those color drawings there on the side, because it's showing you, so the red, if I'm reading it correctly, the red is the actual structure. The yellow is decking and areas of disturbance, and the green is the open space. And the one on the left, I believe, is the current home, and the one on the right is the proposed footprint of the new home. So is that
That
correct?
is accurate. Absolutely.
So I found everything else really confusing. Those two color-coded things I found very instructive for my needs, so, did everybody have a chance to review this at all, and any concerns, comments? Did you want to report anything on the ZLD?
Yeah, we, from the ZL, I didn't bring my.
I
file,
have it
but,
if you want to see it.
That'd be great. It's really, this is actually very straightforward. Tony's been working with our department, I think since, was it March or April you first came in?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was-
so,
Around that time, yeah.
and even before that, on plans, just because I think, I mean, this site is such a challenge and it's proximity to the lake and its size. It's very small.
Tiny.
So, you know, fitting a new home in there on the footprint and meeting all the code requirements has been a challenge, but I think they've actually done a really good job. They only need one variance from the lake. Because everything is really,
Because the deck's going close.
yeah, the pre-existing non-conforming, and they've really fit it in as well as possible, I think. as
And
good
it's
as
switching
possible.
from 1 story to 2 story.
1 story to 2 story, and then Tony can fill you in on any other questions, or if there's anything you wanted to say that I haven't. Go ahead.
Sure, yeah. So with respect to the structure, I think the biggest hurdle was dialing back the original house design, given the building height restrictions in the town of Canandaigua's code. Originally, we were looking to go for a building height variance, but ultimately the house plans were adjusted in order to bring that building height just below the 25-foot max. That's what that figure in the bottom right shows, the 25 feet from the average grade plane around the structure.
Thank you, by the way, for looking at what our recommendations were and attempting to design something within them. I appreciate that.
Yeah, they've been very attentive to, and I've worked very closely with staff to get something that really works, I think.
And then with respect to the site itself, there's really not a whole lot of mature vegetation at all. It's really just some landscaping on the backside. I do have photos from a site visit from last year I can pull up if you're interested. I don't know how many members were able to visit the site itself, but with respect to screening from the lake, we are proposing some additional landscaping that's shown on C2 in the one figure. Just some additional vegetation really to better screen the new home, which will be maxing out that building height, to better screen it from Canandaigua Lake. So at that point, were there any comments from the Environmental Conservation Board with respect to, I don't know, like the vegetation that's proposed, the placement of it, or anything else?
Does anybody want to look at any other?
Can we see C2?
What?
C2.
C2, sheet C2, it's got some plantings, or I think, right?
Or sorry, C1. It's the proposed site plan on C1, yeah.
Okay.
If you zoom in to the right side.
The lake is at the bottom, is that correct?
It's on the right-hand side.
Oh, I see, the
right,
road is
yeah.
over there, the lake's over.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and in that figure, the proposed landscaping is hidden just so it's not too cluttered. So if you scroll down a little bit, you'll be able to see just some proposed locations for shrubs and maybe some dwarf trees. And with respect to the selection of the species, that hasn't really been determined just yet, but our client is going to be, as well as us, are going to be mindful of the proximity to the existing concrete break wall. That's in good condition. We don't want to damage it through these new plantings. Certainly we don't want to damage the foundations of the new home. So yeah, with respect to this project, it's pretty straightforward, and that's the tear down rebuild. There's no concerns, say from an environmental conservation standpoint, of polluting the lake because of any sort of work with or near the concrete break wall. It's just tearing down and replacing mostly in kind.
Does the ECB have any recommendations for vegetation at all that might be useful?
Yeah, just our normal recommendation, just when you can go with native vegetation, try to avoid anything that might be invasive. Pretty standard.
How novel is the rooftop deck? Do we see many places around the lake with that?
My old house had one.
Yeah.
Might be a couple
Yeah,
around.
yeah.
You, it's
Interesting.
So
Take it off the ground.
fairly novel, yeah.
Yeah.
You see them a lot on the boathouses,
Yeah.
but I haven't seen them
Yeah.
much on actual homes.
This is right next to Butler Road Schoolhouse,
It
right?
is. I think there's one house
Yeah, in between.
south and then the
Yeah.
road, yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Anybody have any concerns?
Straightforward.
All right.
Yeah, as Justin said, I think our only recommendation would be to use native vegetation and avoid invasive species.
There are some smaller trees that would not be, the root systems are not huge or invasive, redwoods, that sort of thing. Have some habitat value that are native and small. And, if you do go with trees, you can always trim the lower branches up and keep your lake view, yeah.
Okay, great. All right, well, if nobody has anything else, then I think we can move on from that.
Thank you, Tony.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Tony.
Thank you.
Thanks for stopping in.
Yes, thank you all for your input.
The next section we have is for the ECB newsletter. I think we've got this pretty well filled out. I don't think we really need to chat about it now because we know what we're doing through at least December, if not further. The only question I had is, do folks want me to write the article for the event in October, or does someone else want to write that?
I think you do an excellent job.
Okay, I will write that. Okay. Now your job is to make sure that I read the article on time, okay? Thanks, Shauna. Okay, town hall display case, we're good for now. We've got the October event up. Does anybody want to discuss about winter or wait till
I
next
would
month?
like
and figure
to
that out?
discuss a little bit about October.
Okay.
I would like to put more things that we're featuring at that event
Yes.
on that
Mhm.
board. So as soon as I know what you are planning to present.
Yes,
and I have a few things up, but I would like to have a more extensive list of what they can
Agreed.
expect.
which is what we're gonna get to here in the new business. So,
I did send out that we were doing that to the various different, like the conservation easement, the ag team and stuff like that, but I heard back from nobody, so.
Well, I believe the tree committee does intend to participate.
Awesome.
Okay,
We
I-
can,
Yeah, I did contact Soil and Water Conservation District. Their educator is out on maternity leave.
oh no.
So I am negotiating with the director there to borrow one of their displays, which is about ephemeral pools,
Uh-huh.
which I have tried to persuade the park committee to have. About for Miller, an ephemeral pool is a very valuable habitat for amphibians and things. There's a couple of really good places for them out there. They're not terribly difficult to install or maintain. So if I can, I will get something from them, whether they are here or not. for
Okay.
that.
I can stand next to something and not answer questions about it if you want.
Well, just.
Because I know you're otherwise occupied with abusing children then, but whatever you guys put me next to can not be something where I have to actually know anything about it. so.
What I am proposing to do is use some of the prior display materials that I put up there, like flowering trees
Mhm.
and that sort of thing, and just put them on display boards. I did, following Kim's suggestion, do one on beneficial insects,
Mhm,
so those were there. And something about the great big bugs that don't bite.
Oh,
People are
lovely.
forever. Somehow I've turned into the bug ladies.
There's worse things
Send
one
me
could
this
be.
picture, what is this thing? Well, it's a grown Dobson fly, and just because it's large, it doesn't bite you.
I think we do have some stuff over here, which somebody's gonna, I'm gonna set a meeting with probably Sarah and anybody who wants to figure out what we still have back in here in the storage area for easels
There
and
is something,
prayer
there are
stuff.
some, there has
Yeah.
to be things from when we did. open
There
house.
is some
Yeah.
stuff back in there.
Yeah,
There's
there's a lot of
no
stuff there.
remaining, I wanna call it pieces of flair, but I guess.
like swag.
There's no
Tables.
swag, there's no remaining swag, so
Uh-huh.
I did ask about that and they looked into it. We don't have any more swag available, so.
Uh,
So,
Mm-hmm.
so, all right, so what do we've got? Because let's move on to the October event. We'll come back to the other two here since we're already chattering about it. So what has everybody got already? So you have soil and water, but they can't send
Yes.
somebody, so it's probably gonna
It'll
be
just be
you.
a display.
Okay.
I want to do the fossil thing because that's fun.
Mhm.
I have displays about flowering trees. The tree committee is doing something. I also have bugs of various kinds, and I'm trying to think of something that I could use, for kids to do some sort of contest with, like our cornhole equipment, and they could earn a lollipop or something,
Yeah.
so
Well, I
thinking
know,
about
so Megan's gonna have kids
Oh, yeah,
making
what she's
seed
making those
bombs.
seed bombs, yes.
that. Okay, good.
For anything that we have to purchase, maybe one of you two know the answer to this, so things, obviously the ECB can reimburse, obviously she'll be buying like seeds and things like that. What works best? People just buy things and then submit a receipt, or does it work better to try and take I don't know if there's a town card
There
or
is a
buy with
town-
somebody else?
There is,
or-
and we also have a tax exempt
Yeah,
little card that I carry around, so it would probably be better, easier, because she's not staff,
yeah,
to maybe come up with a date that we want to have, or is our drop dead for things to purchase, and then I can take care of it.
okay,
Because
so,
we have an Amazon business account.
okay,
So we have, there could be less expensive ways to buy things. on
so
our
what would be a
end.
good date for that? Because we probably wanna leave a little leeway with the way things are shipping and everything else these days, so. We're October 22nd, so
22nd.
maybe by like the 10th or something.
The
Maybe
10th
by
of,
October.
October,
To buy things by then.
Or to have
purchase
our
things
list
there
of-
by then.
no, I mean to have them bought, you know what I mean, because I just,
Yeah,
I don't know,
maybe by the next, when is our next ECB meeting?
I will check. again.
What's the first?
Oh, sixth.
October 6th.
October 6th.
So yeah, we could tie it, maybe we could figure something out then too, but also we could even, I mean, I don't know if people are open to that, but we could even go like with Megan, we could go afterwards or something and buy the seeds or before or after that meeting even, but.
I think I'd like a list of before
Yeah.
the 6th.
What we need.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, and because we have, a particular budget too, we've got about a little over $900, so.
Yeah.
We are.
We are.
I know, I was gonna say, if we end up still having some money at the end of this, we should probably get a tree.
Yeah.
Stick a
Yes,
tree
I
in
think that
somewhere.
would be good.
yes.
That would be very nice.
We'll find a spot, we'll buy another tree. So, but, okay, so what do we want? A list by October 1st?
Yes.
Okay. So let's make that clear, maybe at the very beginning of our minutes or something, by October 1st, list needed of any items that need to be purchased for the event. So we're coming up, okay. Did you have anything else you wanted to say in the Edith Davy land for the October 22nd?
I am.
You've got a lot already on that plate, so you're good. Okay.
Is the flowering trees yours and then the tree committee is gonna do something different?
Yes.
Okay. got
Okay,
it.
so then the tree committee will do something else. They're gonna need a table.
Yes.
So yours is soil and water display, the fossil, the planting trees, and Megan. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got 5 tables so far. So that's the one thing that I need to figure out is table numbers, so we can get the park
Yeah.
staff to know where to put stuff. So I've got soil and water display, make your own fossil, flowering trees and bugs, Megan's seed bombs, a tree committee table. Do we know, did the ag committee say they wanted a table? That we haven't heard anything from them?
I have not. I
Okay.
did mention it in the last ag meeting
Yeah,
and
nothing.
I really didn't.
So-
Yeah, I can follow up with it. I'll ask Sarah. Their next meeting is September, early September.
It would be another week or two.
The 8th.
Yes.
Yeah, on the 8th. Okay, so I'll put question for an ag table. Eric, you had something, right?
I was suggesting
I forgot-
composting, but it
I
really
forgot my list.
indeed-
Oh, yeah, we do need, I need to buy some more compost bins. I'm gonna be figuring that out with Sarah Reynolds. That's on my little to-do list, so that we can give away, so. So we'll have a compost table.
Yeah, I
Do
can-
you wanna be helping at that? Is that your forte or no?
But no, plants are really my forte.
Plants are your forte. I mean, I don't know. I apologize that none of these things are my forte. I can hand someone a compost bin, but
Do they want to do native plants?
Yeah, I was gonna do something. I
Oh,
could
you're
find
gonna
one of
do
the other
native
tables
plants.
for native plantings.
I was gonna make a suggestion, Charlie May
Okay.
might be able to, give us some coupons.
Okay,
And then
That's a
I
good
thought we
idea.
could buy some native perennials from him.
is he still open
Oh, yeah.
at
He's
October
got
22nd?
Christmas
He goes he's all the way through
So,
Christmas.
and by
Okay.
then, he may be having a sale, but I think it
Yeah.
might be, and then we could maybe take some names and.
Door prizes. or
Door
something,
prize out
yeah.
the perennials.
maybe
And maybe we can get some seed packs or something.
seed packs are easy. Does he do them right there?
I
Cause I
don't know
know
what
that
he has. I have
the
to go and
places-
talk to him.
He does have some seed packs there,
Does
so
he
I've
still
seen
have
him
them?
there. Yeah, not a
you could
ton.
also,
but-
there's other vendors like that too, like
Yeah.
for municipalities or other stuff for fundraisers. They have just little normal like wildflower native seed packs. you get
Well,
for, like,
and
$1.25.
Don't
piece.
forget Megan's gonna do the seed
Right,
bombs, so
So
that's,
that maybe that whole table could be.
can
tied
be that,
together.
and yeah,
Oh,
and then
yeah.
coupons.
Next to the flowering trees and kind of have.
Yeah.
all in one area.
Just like your basic perennials, the easy stuff.
I wonder if we could
Kind of
have,
deer might not eat.
yeah, I was gonna say, I wonder if we could have win a perennial or something like that somewhere, like do a,
You can just pick a
drawing.
name and a phone number and have a
Yeah.
little jar or something.
Yeah, simple door prize.
Yeah. It'd be
So we can
easy
buy a
enough. I mean, we'll
perennial.
buy 'em and
so
then,
add that to the list, buy a perennial.
Yeah, it's on my list.
I mean, I can go do that. I can do that. I'd be
Okay.
happy to do that. I mean, however many you let me buy. We'll see.
What perennial do we think would be good? That's a fabulous native species that works everywhere.
Well, purple coneflowers
I-
are
I was
nice.
gonna
The
say-
Becky are nice, the black
Yeah.
eyed Susans,
Mhm.
daisies, any of that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
There's probably a good
My
six of them at least that are very basic.
Your purple cone flowers are pretty durable.
Yeah,
And they
don't
do
really get-
attract a lot of native pollinators.
They do, and that's true.
And you can use them if you want to.
Yeah, yes, you can. It's a medicinal plant as well.
Oh, yeah,
Where's
echinacea.
it, where's it, tree? What,
Echinacea.
Echinacea.
Okay, all right, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tables. And then I feel like we're missing, I don't have my list,
I
we're missing
know.
something.
Do you mind if I reach out to some of the native plant vendors, see if they
Please,
want?
go right ahead.
All right,
There's a gentleman. over
We just need to know,
a White Oak Nursery.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was one of the ones.
we just need to have official plans for this, that's all. I mean, as long as we know who's at what table, like I'd like to figure that out a little bit today, so that we can,
So I'll reach out. I know the ones around.
Mhm.
And then for a basic
Boxes on top of
display
it,
on
ones
that, all I was
about-
looking to do is just what's commonly put in these plantings and showing the alternatives, pretty easily to put up there.
A native species list, yeah, I think so.
Get rid of the burning bush, get rid of.
Oh,
They're so pretty.
although your blueberries are just as colorful in the fall.
No, I had blueberries. My neighbor has burning bush. They're not as pretty.
Gotta find the right variety of blueberry.
The service berries got a lot of color.
See, I can't grow blueberries, so I don't. I have
Um,
service berries, so.
So what, were we doing a rain barrel thing? Did anybody reach out about rain
We
barrels?
talked about it, but
Maybe let's just ditch that since nobody's on it right now.
There's a
Well, I will-
strong horticultural element to that.
Yes,
I reached out to this NYSERDA person. I think I sent you and Kim an email that
Yeah.
the climate smart communities and they seem very interested. I mean, is
Okay.
that inappropriate to?
no, I
It'd
think
be great.
honestly, if
Yeah.
we end up doing that, there's
Okay.
gonna be a million questions about how that works, especially with all the,
Yeah.
there've been a lot of issues with it with the
Yeah.
city. So I think that's
Okay.
great if they wanna
Alright.
come,
Yeah.
because that would be, I mean, it would at least be an opportunity to engage with the
Mhm.
public who might not know what this CCA stuff is,
Yeah.
so.
Okay.
I can reach out to Prism.
What is PRISM? You keep mentioning PRISM, I don't know what it is.
It's the invasive species.
Oh.
So
okay.
it's bugs, it's plants, it's. the whole-
Okay.
Right.
they did the one presentation.
Okay. Okay, that's probably enough tables. Cause that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 tables. So we can set up 12 and see what
Oh,
happens.
is that our max?
I told them that we would be between where, I don't know how familiar you guys are with that building, but I told them we would be between the staircase and the door. And I think 12 is about all you'd want to put in that area, because just on the off chance there might be salting happening that time of year. So they would like to keep the other half, they'd like to keep the other half open to that if need be,
All
so.
right.
It could happen.
So,
Snowed on Halloween.
yeah.
So how many,
That's what I'm saying, salting, not plowing, salting.
so how many do we have open for a native plant hunter?
So I've got soil and water display, fossils, flowering trees and bugs, seed bombs, tree committee table, ag table, question mark, compost table, Charlie May table, native species table, NYSERDA table, Prism table. And then one extra other than the ag, which is a question, but some of those, I mean, we can combine some of those if we need to be, like really like, just like the fossil and the seed bombs will definitely need their own table because it's gonna be a mess. But like, I mean, the tree committee could hang out with, flowering trees if they need to. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, native vendors obviously probably share. a little bit,
Yeah.
what we're doing
Yeah.
for native planters.
so I'll add them
Okay.
there too, so
Alright.
native. I think we'll be okay. And I mean, we could
So I can
probably.
ask multiple, that's why I was asking.
Yeah. I mean, they're gonna be the big tables too, so we could probably have 2 people to a
Right.
table or something like that and just have space. There's a lot of space behind kind of where the tables would be too,
Okay.
so there's plenty of room if they want to do something deep or on a corner or what have you, but. Okay. Is everybody working on something for that then? Does anybody need help with something we're working on for
I have a
that?
question. Do we want to put something on the electronic billboards advertising?
Yes.
Sure.
You know what, and you're just reminding me, we thought about a table
The one done by
for,
Big
did you
Lots.
reach out to the gal about Encore?
No,
Oh,
that,
I
I
didn't see that
just
one.
thought of that.
So
too.
we
Yeah,
were-
Let me ask her. I'm not sure she's gonna wanna do it on a Saturday.
Oh, is that
Okay.
what it was?
So-
Well,
Let me
maybe
ask.
even
I'll
if
put
she
that on
doesn't
my
want to do it on a
list.
Saturday, could you somehow, do we have a laptop that belongs to the
yeah.
town that we could put over there? Just to have people mess around with it on Encore and just put it on
People
Encore?
touch our computer.
I know, that's why I'm like,
So I don't want anybody doing that.
do we have a horrible old laptop that nobody likes anymore?
We tried one of
Maybe
those
Jim
before, and
has
we
one.
had that technical issue.
Could we over the winter time host like a
Yes,
webinar
I think we
instead?
should, but I do believe, I will say, every time I point out Encore to people, they're like, wow, this
They
is
get
like
it in better,
magic.
yeah.
Cause I think that magic would be nicer if she like showed it online in a webinar.
Well, I wonder too if we could get a, one of these that's on the wall in there somehow. I don't know if they don't have one in that big room.
Not in that, no, they have it in the other one.
Yeah, the other room I think is just too
Yeah, and
small.
that's too far away.
And too, it's oily in there too, so. It is. No, it is. I mean, it literally, I mean, we worried about people slipping a little bit, you know, so. Seriously, I've walked through there. So it's very mechanical over there, so. All right, so,
Let me look into that. I'm not sure we want anybody using our computer, but
Yeah.
maybe we
I
have an
agree,
extra
yeah,
one hanging out.
what, does she have a static display or anything on it?
I don't know. I'll find
I mean,
out.
that's much less thrilling and
she
exciting,
does.
but if she has just a display board on it
Some
even.
stuff on Drive.
might be good.
I can make a flyer.
Just like, I would love to have some of these in there, but I don't think we have other copies of
We
these.
don't.
And
These
I'm
are
like, I'd be
precious.
terrified to like move them out of here and somebody like draw on them with their pen. and
That would be my tip.
Right.
It would, you know what we should do, by the way?
I could run them on my plotter. I mean, I have the ability to do that. We have a nice big plotter that does color.
That might be nice if we could do one of them
You want to do
anyway.
a couple of them, I could do them.
You know what one would be great is, although it needs updating now, with the ag committee, if they do go there, it'd be nice if they talked about the ag overlay. That might be a nice thing for them to chat about, because that's our brand new thing we have now, but. So I was thinking that one behind Eric might be a good one.
There might be a good display person. They
Yeah.
might Have things that they could display instead.
Active farmland by soil classification, that one?
That one, I mean, we use that one a lot, and that's, I mean,
It could also be condensed, smaller form or
Yeah.
multiples on one.
and
plot,
then
basically.
what else would be important to us from an environmental perspective?
You might want to reach out to Sarah.
Yeah,
She's the chair for the
Who made them?
conservation
Labella?
easement
Are they
team.
Labella?
That one,
yeah.
Maybe they
She's
send
talking
them
about maybe
Maybe
trying to
send
see if
them
she
a
can get some other maps done.
Maybe.
Okay, yeah, but they may not be ready, but you know,
Maybe a
but-
flyer, just to get that concept of conservation easement or
yeah.
open space preservation. just
Well,
out
'cause
there
you
among the
reached-
public.
Somebody reached out to conservation easement team, didn't they, on this?
I included them in the,
Yeah.
but at the mail I sent out.
Well,
And
when
they-
I talk to Sarah about ag, I'll ask her about conservation.
Yeah.
easement.
What would be a good resource, Cornell Cooperative Extension, for composting info?
Yes, yes, Russell Welser.
Okay.
Isn't there a worm composter locally?
Yes, yes,
It's
there
like
is.
Stanley or
Uh,
something out that way?
Over,
no,
Shortsville slash
Shortsville,
vermicompost.
yeah.
Vermicompost. It's good stuff. I get
Know
soil
this
and
stuff.
compost. from over
Yeah.
there.
Okay.
Are you
Yeah, that's
gonna
really
reach out on the composting then? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah.
Okay,
Or
awesome.
vermigreen, sorry.
Can I score a barrel or a bin at some point?
I'm sorry.
The
She doesn't
composting
manage
barrel?
that program. You can ask Jean Chrisman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the clerk. She's got some stash behind her counter.
If you
And
would
I
like
need
a
to order,
water-
I'm gonna order
You're
some more.
gonna be the barrel lady, okay.
There's
Or I
a,
got
there's
that
a
idea.
I have
service.
a.
We
water
talked about it a little bit.
composting bin
You- they'll
that
bring you
recovered
waste
from
and
the transfer
they'll pick it
station.
out.
Oh, yeah?
So you could, I don't have it set up, so you could use that for display too.
Well, and I have a little bin that's one of the ones that
For
Um,
is
composting.
similar to the ones the
Yeah.
town gives away, but I'm gonna order more of the smaller ones, the like kitchen ones, for the event too, which I think we used to sell them. Did we sell the little small composting
I think
bins?
we sold them.
We didn't give them away, right?
No,
We
I think
sold
they were
them.
like $10 or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I'm
Yeah, you
gonna
can
order
assess it
some of
as you
those
go.
and
It was-
that's another thing we
yeah.
could raffle off one of those too, so.
All right, I'll immerse myself in all things composting.
All things rotten, yes.
I don't need to do it at home. You know, I feel silly going out and get bags of fecal matter, paying money. for
You're like, this seems like something I can produce.
Well, there's
A
a-
lot of it.
You know, the main thing is that people know what will compost and what not.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
See, I wouldn't know that. There would
Don't put
probably
your
be things
grease
I'd
in there.
put-
Oh, that's
So,
pretty easy, really. you
Feed
know,
children,
it's-
small dogs, you can't.
Yeah,
Right.
you know.
That's gotta go to the transfer station in the big bin.
Peach
So they have
peelings
all
and
this
coffee
yellow
grounds are
rack,
great for compost.
Yes,
so.
we do bread and.
Oh, yeah.
I would also.
You
make
just
a
wanna stay away from,
recommendation for that,
Fat,
'cause we do have
basically,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So
so
like
now,
no meats.
maybe a little reminder.
No,
not to
actually,
put
the main
plastic
thing
shopping
about
bags,
meat
garbage
is that
bags
it
in the
attracts
container, 'cause
raccoons.
a
Yeah.
couple times dumping in there, I've noticed them at the bottom, it's like,
But all,
If
like
it wasn't
all
covered in all
fruits and
this
veg,
stuff, I might
basically.
grab it out,
All
but
fruit
Yeah,
and
it's
veg.
just a reminder to
My
check the
grandmother
stuff that will
composted
gunk
for
up
a year, forever.
when it goes to that
I
farm or
have
whatever. that
Yeah,
does
forever. And she had a little
stuff,
plastic
so
bag
we're
in her kitchen. She didn't even cover it up. It was
So the
just-
stuff that's.
Okay, I'm really reeling everybody back in.
Alright, yeah.
Reeling back in, sorry. Are we good on the event?
Yeah.
I'll do a flyer and I can do some
Thank you.
graphics for social media.
Thank you, you
If you
rock.
could send me a graphic, that would be great.
So we
And
can
then
put it on the
They
billboard.
will, Lamar will create graphics for us
Nice.
as well. So
That's
if I give them
awesome.
a baseline, I'll make
If,
something.
if you find out what they need, I can make it to whatever they need.
Okay, awesome.
Because I know the big billboards like that have probably a different requirement.
They do.
So real quick, I wanted to insert here, and I apologize for not telling you to put this on there, but I did notice you wrote a letter. Apparently, the conservation easement team is writing a letter of support about the purchase of the RSM property on Westlake Road. Is everybody familiar with that? Everybody knows what I'm talking about? And somebody had said about, it'd be nice if the ECB did that as well. I took a stab at writing one, which I can email to all of you, but I just wrote it on a piece of paper. I can read it out if you guys are okay with it. Would you guys like to do a letter? Okay, so here's what I wrote, and I can email it out if anybody would like to see it, but I wrote, the town of Canandaigua ECB would like to add their support to the many groups already reaching out in favor of the town purchase of lakefront and trail property at 3950 County Road 16. This purchase is in keeping with the town of Canandaigua comprehensive plan, Parks and Rec plan, Trails Master Plan, and our strategic goals for 2022. It provides an opportunity to protect the lake, conserve open space, and provide additional public access to the lake for our residents. Purchasing lake frontage rarely makes economic sense, and it always becomes more expensive. This may be the last open space within the town of Canandaigua that's over 400 feet of lake frontage. Another opportunity to preserve this amount of riparian buffer is not likely to ever present itself again. Please consider taking this chance to protect the lake and its future health for the next generation. Signed, the ECB. Does that sound okay?
I sent out a memo last night too.
Oh, you did on the same thing?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Sounds great.
I feel bad. I didn't see
Sorry,
that
sorry,
last
sorry.
night. I didn't check after this all day. I'm
They're
sorry.
identical.
I think.
Are they pretty similar?
Actually, no,
No, you're,
No.
I think they complement each other.
they
I think
complement,
should
yeah.
both-
You
both
you can
go.
blend them.
Okay.
Right.
What I sent. Actually.
Was that your number 2 one? Is that what you were?
Actually, I had making economic sense.
It doesn't. Buying lake frontage never makes economic sense. It's a
It does for
really,
tourism.
It does.
maybe, but
Capture
well,
for tourism.
so let me put it this way. I wrote this in such a manner to answer criticisms that I have encountered in non-public forum, if you know what I mean. So that's why I wrote
So
that.
is it similar responses to what we had previously, or is it like less or more toned down? or-
You mean on Tishner?
Yeah.
I can't talk about anything. to talk about.
Well, if everything was listed on there, you could read all the.
I think
comments.
the
It's all
biggest
public
concern is
knowledge.
the biggest concern is not from the public, from the town board. I think the biggest concern is just economics on it.
Taking it off the
So.
tax rolls.
No, it's the purchase price.
Purchase price.
I think is people's main issue, because it's not bringing in a ton of taxes right now, so.
Actually, I put in
They
all
could,
sorts of
yes.
tourism economic numbers.
Okay,
I went and got the state data and in 2019, this was pretty interesting. Or I'm sorry, 2021, relative to 2019, traveler spending was up most in Ontario County at 121% of 2019 levels. So we like
In the needle.
hit it out of the ballpark for.
I'm confused
tourism.
by that. In 2019 relative to 2019,
This is
Pre-pandemic.
2021, okay.
2021.
Oh, got it, all right.
Yeah, the pandemic, the 2020 numbers like. took a
Makes sense,
huge
'cause
nosedive.
our state sales our sales tax that came in was great from 2021, so.
But we're right back up and more
Mhm.
than pre-pandemic.
Mhm.
So,
Yep.
and then what people think about, I went out to both the Finger Lakes Tourism Association
yeah.
and Finger Lakes Visitors Connection. And what they think about is basically our natural gifts,
Mhm.
you know, so the lakes, so winery is ag,
Mhm.
so.
Yeah, we can combine them, I mean,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
And then, the Finger Lakes Visitors Connection, they asked people, how would you describe Ontario County? And if you go to that list, which is hundreds of
Yeah.
words and phrases, it's all about nature,
Yeah, mhm.
so
That's what's drawing people there.
that's what's drawing people here.
And people's biggest complaint is there's not enough access to the lake.
Correct. And it's not just locally that people know it. 2017, the LA Times ran a full page article all about the Finger Lakes. It's a really beautiful article. So I mentioned it.
I've seen that. If I can mention too, so there will probably be some sort of movement on this at our September meeting of some kind. Anybody who wants to appear in person or on Zoom and speak during privilege of the floor during that September meeting, please feel free to do so, or sending a letter in individually to the town board members. They're really, I mean, everyone's biggest complaint is that they're not hearing from enough residents, and, you know, that the more people that they hear from, the better decision they can make, so.
So, but basically, I also said, having things that people can go and enjoy,
Mhm.
environmentally helps us with our, teaching people, our educational outreaches. Because people care about and protect what they love. And then I just said our comprehensive plan updates. But I started off with saying we supported and agreed with what was in the conservation easement letter, because I wasn't gonna rewrite it.
Rewrite that.
Did the Titchener property come to a vote before the board, the town board?
I think they ever actually took it, that was before I came on, I don't think they ever took an actual vote on it, it just
Yeah.
kind of what happened, from what I remember from observing it, is there was a lot of neighbors that had
Right,
issues with
right.
it, and I believe the family was starting to get a little spooked that they were really
Mhm.
upsetting their neighbors, and they just kind of
Hmm.
asked the board, can we sort of move on from this? I'm not sure you guys are moving forward with this kind of thing, I believe, I don't know if you have another
I
recollection of
don't, I
it. but-
don't, Doug would have the literal blow by blow.
Just
but-
curious.
There was never like a referendum or
Right,
like
right.
an official vote, just lots and lots of meetings and lots of
Yeah.
people coming forward regarding it, so.
Yeah.
And unfortunately or fortunately, this was kind of at the same time that they were doing this, this RSM came up initially at the same time, so.
Yeah.
I apologize, my daughter is calling me, so hang on. All right, so let's get to the other ECB memo, and is everybody okay with us combining these two memos to some extent?
Sarah will need it by tomorrow.
Okay, all right,
Yeah, because yours is short and kind of yours answers the what
yeah,
and.
Yeah, I think they should both go
Or the
separately.
why. Is there any way to make that parcel part of, I know there's a way, our town park system?
oh, it would be if
It would be.
if that's what we did.
Yeah.
We'd be
That's what
responsible
would
for
happen,
maintaining it.
And economically, if it could generate revenue from paddlers, that would be a great.
I think-
Paddlers are looking, they-
So- First and foremost is acquiring it, and then there's gonna be a long discussion on what to do with it and how much to put into it and how to develop it. And some of that might be dependent on potential partnerships that we're looking into for purchasing it as well, so, but yes, I think the intent would be that it would become part of the park system, and don't forget, it has a trail too that would connect up and into Middle Cheshire Road area as well, so. Okay, so real quick then on to your next memo, your ECB memo 2. I did have some thoughts on it, by the way,
Okay.
if you can pull it up, and I apologize for not giving these to you yet, but I, of course, looked at all my ECB stuff yesterday and the day before, so I would just like to soften it a little bit, as I talked about before, so I don't know if you can, yeah, you've got it pulled up. So in that first paragraph, where it says such as stream setbacks and steep slope protection are not being given proper weight and consideration, maybe instead of are not being given the proper weight and consideration, we could put something like could be more strongly considered when the ZBA is granting variances.
Sure, I can't edit this right now. so
Yeah,
I'll do
I
this
can
after.
give you the, is that okay? I just like to, I want this to feel more like a, you know, we want to work together to solve this problem instead. I want to be real careful about not appearing accusatory. Because I think the ZBA is trying to do their job and we need to figure out ways to help them do it in a way that helps the town. So anyway, the next paragraph, this has been an ongoing pattern, but two egregious recent variance approvals, which set set dangerous new precedents. I was thinking we just switch which to may, because honestly, saying that they set the precedents also helps confirm that they're setting a precedent. So I'd just like to switch that to may. And then same paragraph, a little further down, made it clear that no matter how extensively we review or strongly suggest denial, our advice counts for little. I think maybe change that to no matter how extensively we review or strongly suggest denial, whatever, they may still approve the variance is what I wrote. So
I retried it.
you did
last
rewrite that.
night.
Okay, so
See what you feel like
ECB
that.
strongly advised against granting both variances. Okay, yeah, that's fine. I had nothing with the next paragraph. And then the paragraph, we are very alarmed. I thought we could just switch that to we are concerned with the number as opposed to alarmed.
And Gary had an update to this one as well.
Oh, good. Okay. And then a common justification. What, let me see that. Let's see, a common justification. Yeah, that's nice.
That's good. I like that.
I like that too.
Mhm.
Okay, and then what else did I have? Oh, I would love to have at the end a paragraph that says something, either combining with your last paragraph or at the end, something that says something like something talking about teamwork, right? Like the ECB would like to find a way to work as a team together with the ZBA to strengthen our environmental commitment. How can we both work to ensure fewer variances are granted, which may have a detrimental environmental impact? Perhaps the ZBA works within different constraints given the legal nature of their board. What can we do to help the town continue to enforce regulations already in place to protect our shorelines and stream banks?
I was thinking the same,
You have something to say?
what I did was I made 2 suggestions.
Okay. ECB is hoping.
You need something? Do we have ibuprofen?
Been having migraines and once in a while they'll, the lights in here sometimes get me. No, it's okay.
No, we don't.
I don't, I really
Mine
off
off
here.
Should
Mine
should
are on all
we
day.
be guiding the ZBA
Oh,
as
I'm
far
sorry.
as
It's,
pursuing these outside resources? So you want them to consider.
I know they had questions and they kind of sought their own counsel in the ones that we're talking about.
Right.
And I would have liked to see them reach out to somebody else
Mhm.
and actually use, because they got 62 days. to-
That's a good
Right.
point. They
Yeah.
never use.
Yeah, that's what I pointed out here, so I
I would
would,
say like maybe make more thorough use of their 62 days instead of saying
yeah.
better use. It's almost
Yeah.
like where you're not using your time
Yeah,
wisely
yeah,
or
yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
But I'd love to see them actually reach out and get answers to their questions
Right,
rather than
right.
just
Yeah, I mean, with that case, I'm still unclear as to what, if Kevin Mulvaney was directly consulted by the ZBA, and what he actually stated. It was confusing to me if Kevin Mulvaney actually said that stream setback is fine, 35 feet is, I don't think he said that. I think he spoke to the rerouting of the water.
He did, he right, and the applicant was talking about site visits that we had, staff and the architect and the engineer and
Yeah.
myself had.
Yeah,
It wasn't his recommendation to the ZBA
right,
specifically.
Yeah.
It was a little bit more
Mhm.
general, and yes, the rerouting on the other side,
right,
both
right.
sides.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but not that specific issue. And MRB is available to us, or they have like hydrologists that would,
Mhm.
for these steep slopes, could do an analysis. And
Yes, they have hydrologists,
Understand.
ecologists,
Okay,
I mean,
Yeah.
multiple professionals
which
in
should
different
be,
subjects.
should be utilized.
I just want to make sure that the tenor of this is about working together and
Yeah.
cooperating as a team, as opposed to accusing them of doing something
Yeah,
not.
but a joint meeting, I think is.
Yes,
impression
and I think
something should
they
be-
would like to do that too.
Chip would like to do
Yeah.
that.
They
Yeah.
said that in the last
Yeah.
CBA meeting.
Yeah.
They actually floated out October potentially coming to be at our next ECB, actually, so. Which I'm sure we would welcome them anytime anybody wants to come, so. But I think all of us should make it a point to, at some point between now and the end of the year, go to a ZBA meeting, and we should all honestly be going to probably at least one a year anyway, just so that we see what they're reviewing and how they're reviewing and how they work together and what they're really looking for when they're looking through these difficult variances and such. Hello, Lee.
We have the other one. Sorry about that.
Maybe it's the, kind of trying to look at them through their eyes. They're the front facing body that probably has to directly interact with
Yeah.
the people who are petitioning. And
Exactly.
if we can help, or, we and engineers, the consultants can help develop rationales, they might not be tempted to agree to the disagreeable.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, they also, when they have their consultants there, they're obviously showing everything from a positive perspective for their client. That's what
Right.
they're there for. And they're highly paid lawyers, most of them,
Most,
and
yeah.
engineers.
And landscape architects that are paid very well.
Yeah, and I mean, it's certainly also helpful when, if there's one that's particularly important to us, like that's why I was there for the Shotland project, but I'm just basically drawing attention to the fact that we had, our various recommendations from the ECB coming through. But I think, we can all speak on these projects when they all have a public opportunity for the public to speak.
But
And
it certainly is a challenge when you go in at the time of the meeting, the
It is.
review, and you got 3 lawyers and.
Mhm.
the
It is.
brokers and everything.
Well, and that's what they're dealing with. I
Uh,
mean, and plus they're a legally binding board, right? So they have
Right.
specific legal regulations that they are
Right.
trying to follow, so.
Yeah.
So we can, same kind of thing, I'll see you a lawyer and raise you a hydraulic engineer.
Yeah.
But being able to communicate before, I guess, before
Yeah.
they sit down and I actually look back through some of the ZBA minutes to see how often
Yeah.
ECB is mentioned.
Mhm,
There's like 5 times over the past year and a half.
mhm.
Yeah.
And I think planning board.
Planning board.
Does.
Chuck does a great
Like I said,
job.
very much, yeah.
References.
He always
Us.
does. When he does the findings, he
Mhm.
absolutely always.
Yeah.
We could just get Kimberly a hat that says, remember the ECB to wear during. the
And there's a secretary.
I know. It's a nice subtle, subliminal.
Turn it around. and speak on the actual ECB.
Yeah, you could, yeah, put your-
Okay, so are we okay with this as it's written? Do we want more changes? You probably, I don't know if my name should be on this for 2 reasons. A, I'm not a board member, and B, I'm a town board member.
I had you as a facilitator.
Yeah, but I don't know.
I can remove
I'd
it.
say probably just take me off, because
Sure.
otherwise
I can do
weird
that.
things happen when you're a town board member and it sounds,
No, that's,
Yeah,
So-
you would be an awkward.
yeah, I would just take me off. So, even though I think it's a great letter, and also you're sending it to the town board too, so it's kind of like an extra thing too, so.
anything else?
No, I think I'm good, and I actually have to run away. I apologize, but I don't know how close we are getting through my agenda here.
I think we're
Pretty close.
Pretty close to being done.
So I apologize, but I do have to scoot, and then maybe Kim, if you could just tie up the rest of the little notes here, and everybody make sure you're staying on top of your training. Forget it.
Did you have the IMAP and basis count? We use those, and I had that on the last agenda.
And I apologize for ditching, sorry.
To do what? I'm sorry.
Like YouTube videos and stuff that IMAP and basis.
Shauna does,
I was at the history, so.
History.
You want to ask.
Or,
You can tell we're leaving, and we're leaving. in
Yeah,
5
I have
minutes.
to go to the line. I've got my camera.
Yeah,
Just a quick question for the
Yeah.
training and stuff, if we watch through like the IMAP and basic stuff, the tutorials, does that count?
Yeah, just email me.
Okay.
I miss you. I'm sorry, guys, I
Yeah.
apologize.
Yeah, sorry about having to.
no.
Enjoy, enjoy.
Yeah.
Bye. Sorry.
Have a good night.
Good night.
Okay.
All right, Edith's
Oh,
the
sorry.
vice chair.
Oh,
No, she's a
I have a migraine, I'm sorry.
No.
I am really whacked.
I can do it.
Please do.
Yeah, we already covered the CIC, the last meeting didn't happen, so we're gonna move past that. Tree team.
I'm working on rubric for selecting the trees of distinction, I guess you would say.
I talked a little
Which
bit
we
about
have
that.
been
Yeah.
talking about for a while,
The
and it
heritage
seems
tree.
like we are zeroing in on what we want to do. So that is something that I would really like to use for a display up here, are some of the trees that are on town property, which I do have photographs of some of them since we've been touring it.
Yeah.
And
So this,
just as examples,
would this work into the newsletters for like a quarterly?
yes, it
featured tree,
could, yes.
basically?
Well, it would be something that we would want people to nominate
Okay.
trees of their acquaintance. Do you have one that is a large native species, historic interest, whatever,
I think this would
Probably
be great on social.
And one of the things that I would like to put on it is visible from the road.
Yeah.
Because we could actually do a tree tour. People do love trees,
Yeah.
those big things in the Academy Cemetery, or some of the oaks over in, that we've seen in some places. Big tree at Ononda that's, that was
The eagle
apparently
tree.
somebody's lightning rod
All right,
for the old
yeah.
homestead there. There, and those are all town property, but it would give people an idea, I think, of what we were looking for.
So will we put that in the newsletter and ask people if they would like to send us?
Well, I think we would maybe put in a copy of whatever we have, fill this out, send it in, electronically, or mail it in, copy it and mail it in, send a picture. Wouldn't that be kind of fun to have?
Yeah.
Start out with ones on town property to get the
Yeah.
interest, and then. start
Right,
getting
exactly,
people to-
that's, yes, I know
I like
I'm
the
not
interaction
making a
with the
great deal of
community too,
sense,
that's
but.
Promote it through the old fashioned newspaper and
Yeah.
Facebook site.
Yeah, I think if you had some photos and shared the photos and information with Sarah, she could make posts on the Facebook, the town Facebook
Yeah, I
page.
think it would.
I think that would go over well there.
Could ultimately turn into like what the history team is doing with the locations and what they like geocoding, they're doing something with that.
Is the city doing something similar?
Pardon me?
Is it the city doing something?
The city
similar
has a
at a registry?
landmark
of,
tree type
yeah.
of thing, yes,
Yeah.
and rubric that they use for selecting.
Mhm.
And people do nominate their
Uh-huh.
favorite trees on those, so. There are a few that I need to go photograph yet. I know there's a big maple at the Quaker Meeting House that's that's not exactly. I haven't got there yet, but I've got a few of them. That's all I know from the tree committee.
Local history.
They're meeting now, actually. So you can poke our head in the door and say, hey, what's up?
Hey, what you guys doing?
What's happening?
Drop the soup can over.
Other than training, that's it.
I probably could ask Russ Welser about a rain barrel for just as an exhibit. He probably has some information about them also, if you want to add rain barrel to your composting exhibit or
Sure.
anything. I have promised to do conservation field days for them this year, so I have been in touch, so I will ask them.
Absolutely. More to learn about.
Yeah, right.
I'll
Well,
get a hold
my
of,
rain barrels are messy right now. They're in use, so I won't volunteer those.
So what, like half of a rainstorm basically, and they're all filled up?
Oh, man, I need to clean them, they do take some maintenance now and again.
So you gotta put the fish in the plants in, right?
Oh, boy.
The goldfish with I forgot the little plant.
For real.
Yeah, people would do it.
People
Little
do.
aquaculture setup, basically. just
Yeah, they
rainwater.
do, yeah.
now, could they call that an ephemeral pool or no? because it's
No.
not filling?
I'm-
Yeah, that's potatoes.
They just gotta drain it and you're good.
Yeah.
Get all the mosquito larvae out of it.
Well, I'm hoping I can get the ephemeral pool stuff from them, and, I just have to prove that I know enough about it, which I only worked for them for 20 years, that's.
You're not gonna just show up with a dozer and do a scrape and be done with it?
Well, they're really pretty, they're really pretty simple. I
Yeah.
mean, I have some in my woods they're naturally, but you can install them, and I really think Middle Park would be a super place to do one, and it would be
Right.
publicly accessible, and people could see, you can
Yeah.
label it and say,
Hmm.
they usually dry up in the middle of, after it quits raining in the spring, but it gives the frogs and the salamanders a place to breed, and
Are those protected or no?
they are endangered
Okay.
anyway. They're iffy.
So when it's generated, it becomes part of that. So like it would have to be undisturbed too at the same time.
Right, well, right, you don't, it's not usually they grass over in the
Right.
summer, which doesn't hurt a thing. It's just that they're made to collect water and run off in spring and stand there long enough for stuff to use it as a breeding pool.
Be a nice little obstacle for the Frisbee golf course down there too.
Oh, well, that's true.
Build
Well,
into
if you can dodge goose poop for Frisbee.
I don't think you can. That's
You're
the
bringing
perfect
back
area.
childhood memories.
You just go with it.
Oh, well,
Just gotta let that grass grow up around the pond.
yeah. Well, is there anything else anyone needs to do?
I'll make the motion
Okay.
to close it up.
Okay,
I second.
okay, we're done.
I will get you a cleanup